Why does English have so many words for things that float? Boat, ship, canoe, kayak, ferry, barge, yacht, sailboat, tugboat. Why not just call all of them boats? The answer is surprisingly useful, because these words do not describe the same thing. Some describe size, some describe function, some describe design, and some describe how the vessel moves. Now notice this. English does not simply name objects. It often classifies them. And once you understand that system, all these words become much easier to remember. Let's start with the most important distinction: boat and ship. Many learners think these words are interchangeable, but English usually treats them differently. A boat is generally smaller. A ship is generally larger. Some boats can be carried on larger ships. Think about a fishing boat, a rowboat, or a speedboat. They are all boats. Now consider a ship. Ships are much larger. They travel across oceans. They carry large numbers of passengers, or huge amounts of cargo. Some carry military equipment. Cruise ships are ships. Container ships are ships. Warships are ships too. Now notice this. Boat and ship mainly describe size, but other words describe something else. Let's look at canoe and kayak. At first glance, they look similar. Both are small. Both use paddles. Both are often used on rivers and lakes. But there is an important difference. A canoe usually uses a single-bladed paddle. The paddler usually sits higher. A kayak uses a double-bladed paddle. The paddler sits much lower. Notice this. Canoe and kayak describe design, not size, not function. Next, consider the word ferry. A ferry is not defined by appearance. It is defined by function. A ferry transports people. It can also carry cars, or even large trucks. Some ferries are small, some are enormous, but they all perform the same job. Now consider a barge. A barge is designed to carry cargo. It is usually wide and heavy, and it is usually slow. Many barges travel on rivers. Many also travel on canals. Notice this. Ferry and barge describe function. A ferry carries passengers. A barge carries cargo. Now let's look at tugboat. A tugboat is often much smaller than nearby ships, but it is surprisingly powerful. It pushes larger ships or pulls them. It helps them move safely through busy ports. Without tugboats, many large ships would struggle in ports. Notice this. The word tugboat also describes function. Its name tells you what it does. Now, let's move to recreational boats. Consider the word yacht. Many learners think a yacht is simply an expensive boat, but technically, a yacht is a boat used mainly for pleasure. The key idea is recreation, not transportation. Some yachts are small, others are enormous. Now consider sailboat. A sailboat is defined by how it moves. It uses sails to capture wind. Some sailboats are also yachts. Notice this. Sailboat describes a method of movement. Yacht describes a purpose. English is making two different distinctions. Now let's step back and look at the bigger picture. Why does English have so many words for boats? Because English likes specific categories. Different words answer different questions. Ship or boat, that tells us about size. Canoe or kayak, that tells us about design. Ferry, barge, or tugboat, that tells us about function. Sailboat, that tells us how it moves. Yacht, that tells us why people use it. Notice this. These words are not random vocabulary. They form a system, and once you understand the system, the words become much easier to remember. That is one reason English seems to have so many words. English often prefers specific categories instead of broad labels. A canoe is not just a boat. A ferry is not just a boat. A barge is not just a boat. Each word tells us something important, and that information helps communication. So the next time you see something floating on water, don't ask only, is it a boat? Ask a better question. What kind of boat is it? Because in English, the difference matters.